Humanity's next great leap forward will come from space. Over the next 10 years, spaceflight will change our world in ways we cannot yet imagine. We are about to enter a new era of discovery. I am incredibly lucky to be alive at this moment in history, when so much is changing and developing so rapidly. If you're watching this video right now, then you're also lucky enough to be alive at such an exciting time. But there is a danger that most people are going to miss what is happening right now, because it is so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day issues that seem to dominate our news feeds and our conversations. It can feel like the world is full of problems. There is a war in Europe, inflation and rising food prices, economic uncertainty, climate change and political division. And I don't want to downplay any of these issues because they all need to be talked about and resolved. But we also need to look beyond Earth for inspiration. Because while things may seem bleak here, they are not that way everywhere. In fact, there has never been a better time to be alive. We have incredible technology. We have decent access to quality information, and we have the ability to communicate with each other like never before. We also have incredible companies out there pushing the boundaries of possibility. They're doing amazing things that seemed like science fiction only a few years ago. One of these areas where so many incredible advancements are being made is in space. Over the last few years, there has been an explosion of commercial activity in low Earth orbit. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Orbit have started to make launching things into space affordable. In fact, it is now cheaper than ever to put stuff into orbit. This means that more companies are now looking to send their products into space. So much so that by some estimates, the global space economy is expected to reach $1.7 trillion by 2030. That's a lot of money. We've seen a huge increase in the amount of satellites being sent into orbit. There were only around 2,000 active satellites in operation in 2016. Today, there are more than 8,000. By the end of 2022, more than 42,000 satellite launches had been recorded. More than half of these took place within just the last decade. And that number will continue to grow exponentially over the coming years. But it is not just about putting more stuff into space. It is also about what we are sending there. In 2011, a company called SpaceX was founded with the goal of making life multi-planetary. Elon Musk has been very public about his desire to get humans to Mars. Of course, this is still a dream for the future. But Elon Musk believes that the first crewed missions to Mars could happen as soon as 2026. What seems almost impossible today will be reality in less than 3 years from now. And it is not just Elon Musk who is thinking about how to get off Earth. NASA has also set its sights on the Red Planet with plans to send astronauts there by 2030. It is not just about Mars either. There are plans for missions to the Moon and beyond. For example, NASA's Artemis program aims to establish a permanent human presence on the Moon by 2028. And there are even plans for missions to asteroids and comets. It is an exciting time to be alive. And if you're skeptical and thinking this sounds too good to be true, well, just look at the progress that has been made in the last year alone. Just consider the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST. After decades of planning and billions of dollars spent, JWST launched successfully in December of 2021 and arrived at its destination, the Lagrange Point 2 or L2, in January of 2022. This telescope is already returning incredible images of the cosmos, and scientists are excited to see what else it will find. Another remarkable achievement was the successful launch and landing of the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft in May of 2020. This made SpaceX the first private company to successfully launch and recover a spacecraft. This achievement opened up new possibilities for commercial spaceflight and showed that NASA doesn't have a monopoly on getting things into orbit. One of the most exciting things about the upcoming missions is what they will bring back. One of the most important resources that we could find would be water. Water is essential for human life, and it is becoming increasingly scarce on Earth. Finding water on other planets or in space could help us to sustain life beyond Earth and ensure that we have enough water to survive. For example, the Moon is thought to have vast reserves of water ice that could be extracted and used by astronauts. Similarly, Mars is thought to have water ice that could be extracted and used for drinking, growing crops, and making rocket fuel. This could make it possible for humans to live on Mars permanently. Another valuable resource that could be found on other planets or in space is minerals and metals. These resources are used to make everything from buildings to electronics, and finding new sources of them would help us to meet the growing demands of our population. For example, asteroids are thought to contain large amounts of valuable minerals and metals that could be mined and used on Earth. The next great leap forward for humanity will not be a single event, but a collection of them. It will be when we learn to harness these resources and use them to improve our lives. This could mean developing new technologies to extract water and minerals from asteroids, or finding ways to use lunar ice to grow crops and make rocket fuel. The possibilities are endless. Of course, there are challenges that need to be overcome before we can start harvesting the resources of the cosmos. For example, we need to develop new technologies that can withstand the harsh environment of space. We also need to figure out how to transport resources from other planets to Earth. But these are challenges that we are up to meeting. If you look at the progress that has been made in the last few years alone, it is clear that we are capable of amazing things. The launch of the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft and the James Webb Telescope are just two examples of what we are capable of achieving when we set our minds to it. With continued investment in space exploration and technology development, we will be able to overcome the remaining challenges and start harvesting the resources of the cosmos. So, what do you think? Are you excited about the future of space exploration? What do you think the biggest challenges are to be overcome before we can start harvesting the resources of the cosmos? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, as I always appreciate your support. Also, if you haven't done so already, then please consider subscribing to my channel, as I post new videos every week about the latest developments in space exploration. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you next time.